Right, here we go with another history podcast looking at an extract question, and we're going to mark an essay linked to this today, an extract answer. So in front of us we've got the mark scheme. I've discussed this in previous webcasts, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time going over it again, but you can see in front of us the sort of top level, and we're looking here for a good understanding across all three extracts that has analysed and evaluated the interpretations given, that the evaluation of the arguments is well supported. So I'm going to turn the sheet over and just jot down really the key things that I'm looking for. So point number one, really, the key point to success in this is, first of all, you need to identify the arguments in each extract. So that's the first thing I'm going to be looking for when marking, is to have they understood the arguments. Secondly, I'm then going to look at their selection of evidence from the extracts, the selection of evidence, the key quotes that they're using. That's key because you need to be able to discuss those key quotes to establish whether or not they're accurate or not, and so that analysis can take place. And that's the third thing I'm looking for: cross-reference to own knowledge. Yeah, lots of detail and examples coming in, and that should be used for analysis, weighing of the extract itself, to reach a judgment overall. So these are the key things that we're looking if the essay achieves today. So, quick look at the extracts themselves. As you can see, three extracts that are interesting. Something that makes one of these extracts interesting is the time it's taking place in 1944, worth drawing attention to, and 1934, because obviously these are quite close to the time of the New Deal. Other than that, they're a mixture of supportive statements and not supportive statements, and I'd be looking for a student to get stuck into these, pull out some quotations and say why they agree or disagree with them based on what they know. So let's look at the essay next. So here we have the essay. You can see the question here, looking at the achievements of FDR and the New Deal. So let's see what this essay achieves. So the first source suggests the New Deal was heading in the right direction, so he's correctly identified the argument of the source. He goes on to talk about the Federal Emergency Relief Act and the agency that was supposed to play resupply. So he's bringing in some own knowledge here. We've not got a quote, which is a shame, that he's directly linking it to. Oh yes, we have, sorry, there's the quote, there's the own knowledge. So we're now up and running, which is good. Second example, bringing through to support, so lots of good own knowledge. Now we've got analysis on the other hand. So we've got lots of positive agreement here, and now we've got some negative agreement. Could explain the limitations here further, but it's well explained. The source argument as a whole is positive and has mixed views. So he said what is, we're lacking judgment, so we could put here develop judgment. Okay, moving on to the second source. The second source, on one hand, isn't a fully convincing argument, so we've got a clear line of argument coming through here from the student about what the source is saying and what they think of it. And that's a very good start. Roosevelt didn't restore our economic system. Again, good use of a quotation. This isn't necessarily true, as the New Deal took certain aspects of the economic system to new levels, such as the Glass-Steagall Banking Act. Right, excellent. So we've got analysis here. Got analysis by own knowledge. So he's saying, I don't fully agree with this statement, and here's my evidence because of it. So that is a very good thing. And he's got a second piece of evidence backing it up again. So we've got really good sustained analysis saying why he disagrees with the source. Also from the source we get the impression that people didn't see the government intervention as a good thing. This evidence towards the end of the source, continue to devour. Yep, this is good. And opposition to acts. So we've got the quote, we've got the supporting analysis by own knowledge, which is good. And we're reaching a reasonably sustained judgment. Overall, sort of isn't very clear. Again, I think the judgments could be developed, but we've got, discussing the negatives and the positives agreements, again discussing the agreements and the disagreements. So apart from developing the judgment, this is looking like a pretty good essay. The argument, the last source, is very convincing. So again, clearly saying what he thinks. Highlights some of the key objectives achieved, such as the Social Security Act, which is good. Guaranteed retirement payments. We've got some little bit of own knowledge, not very detailed there. So we could put here that some extra detail is required. Limitations of the sources, agreement again, disagreement. And again, we're questioning what's the final judgment overall. So this source is a little bit thin, could be developed a bit more. And then finishes off with a nice decision that he thinks that source F is the most convincing, which is the final source. Now that's interesting because it's actually the one he's explained the least. So it's a shame about that. But he does go on to criticise. The other sources and why. So we reach a sound judgment. So overall, a pretty solid essay. I'd give this level 4. Good analysis, but judgments could be more developed.